Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Our Take, a podcast you can trust. I'm your host, LukeMan97, and once again, I'm here without Diesel. Like I've said in all previous episodes, hopefully he'll be able to join us soon. But on today's episode, we're going to be comparing LED bulbs with CFL bulbs and old incandescent bulbs. So, we're going to be basically comparing those three types of bulbs here today. So, we're back with the old music, as you guys can tell, AK Discovery. By the way, if you want to download any of the music we use here on the podcast, just look in the community tab. I put what kind of music we use. But I'll probably just do alternating episodes, or one episode with AK Discovery and then one with the other music. But anyways, so one thing I want to talk about first is, so basically incandescent bulbs, here are some definitions, and I'm reading from this website online called blog.acadia.com, but basically incandescent bulbs are the old-fashioned typical bulbs that many of the older generation grew up with, but they're not very energy efficient, they don't last long. So basically, if you guys don't know, incandescent bulbs give off a lot of heat because there's like heat wasted in the process of making the light. So they give off a lot of heat, and also they don't last long because they have filaments inside that can break very quickly. The other type of bulb I was talking about, compact fluorescent light bulbs, CFLs, are kind of like the fluorescent bulbs you would find in your garage, but they're much more compact. That's why they're called that. They're spiral bulbs, and they're more energy efficient than incandescent bulbs because they don't give off so much heat, but they're still not as efficient as the next type, LED bulbs. And it says they're very energy efficient, but they still maintain the look and feel of an incandescent bulb. So basically, incandescent, like I said, gives off a lot of heat while trying to make light, which is not very efficient. The CFL, compact fluorescent bulbs, they are better because they don't give off so much heat, and the reason why is because instead of having a filament inside like the incandescent bulbs, they have some, I think it's let's see. I think it's like argon or something inside. I forget what it's actually called, but it's like argon they have inside, or some sort of gas, and then they have a tiny bit of mercury as well. And that emits light that you can't see, but when it passes through the phosphorus white coating or whatever coating's on the outside of the CFL, then it makes light that you can see. And then as far as LED bulbs, they stand for light emitting diode, and it says they're not bulbs technically. They're tiny semiconductors or diodes wrapped in plastic to protect the elements and to focus the light. So a diode is a semiconductor device with two terminals, typically allowing the flow of current in one direction only. So it says they're different from an incandescent because the old bulbs, like I said, have filaments that glow, producing both heat and light when energy flows through them. But LEDs have electrons that flow to create photons, light that we can see. But the photons generate almost no heat. So basically in science, there's a principle that says that for most energy that's made, some energy is lost in heat. And that's why LED bulbs and CFL are so much more efficient than incandescents, because they emit way less heat. And also, I don't know if it has anything to do with global warming, but it does emit a lot less heat. So that's why they're way more efficient. But now let's talk about how long they last. So CFL bulbs, let's talk about CFL bulbs. We didn't really talk about them in depth too much. It says CFL bulbs are more efficient than incandescent bulbs because of how they produce light. But according to Energy Star, in a CFL, an electric current is driven through a tube, I was right, containing argon and a small amount of mercury vapor. This generates invisible ultraviolet light that exits a fluorescent coating called phosphor. I was right about that too. I read it earlier, so I guess I remembered it. On the inside of the tube, which then emits a visible light. So CFL bulbs, it says, are the bulbs that are dim at first, but take a while to warm up, because the gases inside them take a while to warm up. Once the electricity starts moving inside them, however, these bulbs use about 70% less energy than incandescent bulbs. But they're not quite as efficient as LEDs, they have a shorter lifespan. But I gotta warn you guys, some downsides of CFL bulbs is that, like I said, they contain mercury. Mercury is very poisonous. So if you ever break, whether it's a regular fluorescent bulb or a CFL, if you ever break one of those, don't try to air out the room. Don't stay near it, because if you breathe in that mercury, it will not be good for you. And also, one thing too is we call them curlicues, but CFL bulbs emit a burst of radiation when they start up, I've heard. So, yeah, that's another downside of them, that they emit some radiation. But, so it says LEDs also use less energy, because diode light is much more efficient than filament light, because like I said, there's no energy being lost in heat. They use about 75% less energy than incandescent lighting. And now let's talk about the lifespan. So it says another advantage of LEDs is the hassle factor. LEDs, or the cost factor. LEDs last a lot longer than a regular bulb. And I have met some people that their LED lights have not worked out for them as much, and they've kind of burned out a lot. But for us, we've only had like maybe 3 LEDs burn out. So yeah, they do last a lot longer. So you save money on electricity, and you also save money on not buying so many bulbs, because they last longer, you know. So let's talk about the math on energy savings, and this is from thespruce.com. It says a standard 60 watt incandescent bulb puts out about 820 lumens. That translates to a 60 watt incandescent bulb producing 16.67 lumens per watt. One of the better CFLs on the market, the GE Reveal light, uses 15 watts to produce 740 lumens. That bulb has an efficiency of 49.33 lumens per watt. That's a nice improvement. But LED bulbs go even further. The standard Cree 60 watt replacement LED puts out 800 lumens using only 9 watts of power. That's an efficiency of 84.21 lumens per watt. LED bulb is 6 times as efficient as the incandescent bulb it replaces. Put it another way, switching from an incandescent 60 watt bulb to a 60 watt equivalent LED bulb saves nearly 84% of price. So yeah, that's basically the comparison between LEDs and incandescents and CFLs, and all there is on those. I hope this was informational to you guys and you guys enjoyed. Make sure, if you're still using the old type of incandescent bulb at your house, if you want to save money, then make sure and upgrade to LED. And even if you're using CFL bulbs, I would still recommend changing to LED, because even though they're more efficient than incandescents, obviously LEDs are the most efficient. And not only that, but LEDs and even incandescents are much safer than CFLs, because if you break them, it's not a huge deal. It's not like there's gas in the air, and also they don't release radiation when they start. So yeah, CFLs are probably the most dangerous bulbs. Out of those 3, incandescents are probably the most inefficient, and LEDs are the most efficient. So there you go. That's everything on those 3 bulbs and their comparisons. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast channel, like this video, turn on notifications, check out the other videos I'll leave in the end screen, and also check out me and Diesel's main channels, LukeMan97 and Diesel97. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.